Welcome to episode 81 of the Two Rash Challenges podcast. I'm Dave Lewis. Eric Neal is over there. And what's up, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Just looking forward to the crew game tonight.
Yeah, man, this is good. We'll get to some crew coverage. That's how. That's when you know the EPL is not happening, when we're excited about some crew stuff. All right, let's start it off with Liverpool, man. We'll get to the Champions League stuff in a little bit. Woo! Christmas early. Look, I'm showing you my teal-colored kit here, Nike emblem.
I also wore teal for you.
I love my new shirt, man. It's awesome. I'm showing you my Liverpool shirt, and the problem is I don't know if I've been working out too much, but the sleeve's a little tight. It's a little baby gap going on here. I don't know. It's a schmedium. Let's go. So I'm excited. It was Christmas came early there. Training in Austria. Liverpool are in Austria training. Everything looks good. If you go to the Liverpool site, the official website, we're loaded. We're stacked. Everybody's happy. Well, it's going to be another great season. Let's get to our signing. That's going to happen any minute now. Thiago of the Champions League winner Bayern Munich looks like he's definitely coming.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's 56 years old, but yeah, he's coming.
He was one of the best players on the field. And we'll get to the Champions League stuff, but one of the best players on the field. This guy, I wasn't convinced. Okay, he's 29 years old. I mean, that's not that old. That's your prime still. That's still your prime. And he's really good in tight spaces, just like you are. And he's an engine. He was instrumental in the goal in the Champions League. This guy's good. I want him. Spend the money. If we don't get him, if we wind up not getting him and Timo Werner, then I'm with you, Eric. Something's wrong here. But if we get Thiago, I'm happy. And that's all we
really?
need.
But yeah. You said it's going to be about the same amount of money, right? As
No, like 35. So it's about 15 million cheaper than Werner.
I thought Werner was 40.
All right, he's 40. I thought, is he 40 or 50? I can't remember.
Okay, all I'm saying
is, let's go with 50.
Let's go. Fine. Let's go with 50.
Yeah.
Do you really need another?
No, you need Thiago over Werner. You do. You need somebody in the mid. Yes, you do.
What? Okay, to replace who?
Keita is. I've told you before. Henderson.
Okay, that's not Keita's position, really. You're looking at Fabinho and Henderson. That's his job.
Yeah, but Keita kind of goes into that area. Midfielders are weird at Liverpool. A lot of them are interchangeable. Thiago brings something that we don't have. He does. So I want him. I want him in the midfield. Keita's not my guy. He's fine. Milner's 80 years old. I mean, the Ox is more up top player. He's not really a mid. So I feel like we need somebody in the midfield. We need a creative guy in the midfield. He's not just Fabinho's a destroyer. Thiago can do a little more than that. He can do a little more than that. So I want him.
So who's he benching? You're saying he's benching Fabinho?
No, I think you play Henderson. You play Henderson, Fabinho, and you play Thiago. You play all three.
Really? That's the three in the mid?
You play the three. Yeah, 4-3-3. Those are your three in the mid, and then you got our normal three up top. I'd take that in a minute. In a minute. You got Henderson, the player of the year. Thiago, a Champions League winner. Come on.
Not the real player of the year.
Did we get De Bruyne? We got De Bruyne. So I'm excited about the season. I got it going. Nothing else to report. Liverpool, it's all good. It's all sunshine and roses, man. It's beautiful. I'm happy.
I'm smelling a third place coming.
Third place.
I'm telling you.
Pep will be out. He's gone.
Pep's going to reload. Chelsea are on the march, man. They're signing everybody under the sun.
Before we get to Newcastle, let's just hit on that real quick.
All right.
What the hell is going on with – how much money are they spending? First of all, what's his name? From PSG they're getting. The other Thiago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting him.
Silva.
He's 35.
Yeah.
2-year contract?
That right there solves a lot of their problems. They're talking about getting Oblak from Atletico.
They're getting Chilwell.
I told you what the deal is going to be. They're going to say, look, you were asking for $80 million. We're only asking that we give you the 80 and you also take Kepa. That's
Yeah.
the deal. You have to have Kepa, though. You can't get rid of him. You got to take him from us. We don't want him. He's bad juju.
Yeah.
Get him out of our club. So you got that. You're going to get Oblak, Thiago Silva, who will like settle that shit right down.
I mean, he's 35. He's still good.
I mean, he will like solidify that. They're going to get Chilwell. They're going to get the Kai Havertz kid. And
that guy's coming too. Yeah.
And they got all the other players. Now all of a sudden, they're surpassing both you and City. That team is loaded.
No, it's loaded, but that's on paper. That's on paper, man.
But you guys, I'm telling you, the fire is going to be gone. You cannot burn that hot for that long. I
cannot wait till we're back-to-back champs. I want you to eat. I know you'll call it another asterisk season because, not everything's right and there's still water breaks or whatever. But back-to-back champs.
I'll take that bet right now. No way. Not happening.
I think they want to prove it. I think Klopp is hungry. He wants to prove that last year was no weird fluke or asterisks or anything like that. So
he does want to prove that. But I'm telling you, the players, he squeezed all that out of them for that long stretch. They're just tired, man. They're over it.
Give me the scenario. Seriously, Eric. Give me the scenario, really. Forget the other teams. Like City gets better. Chelsea gets better. Because remember, Chelsea will be better. But they got like 1 million points to catch up. I mean, all these players might not give you another 30 points or 25 points. Give me how Liverpool fails. Does Van Dijk just take a step down? What happens? If they all play the way they did last year, do they win it again? How about that? Do they win it?
Here's the thing. I don't think it's a skill thing. I think they'll play the same system and they all know what to do and all of that. Yeah. But every one of those players was hungry to end that streak, to break the curse, to get the Premier League. They had won the Champions League, but that wasn't what they really wanted. And they finally got it. And once you get that, it's not about it was. Do you remember early in the season, last season, when they didn't win pretty in all these matches? There were like four or five matches in the first half of the season where they scrambled and got a goal at the very last second. They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing because he had them
gotta be lucky and good.
Yeah. He had them so focused on reaching that goal that they were going to do it no matter what. He was like, we can't slip up. We can't make a mistake. We've got to fight for everything. Once you get it, you can talk about, now we got to go back to back. It's not the same.
So let them slip to 90 points. That's 3 losses more. They lose 3 more games, which, that's a normal season. A lot of Premier League champions will have like 4 losses or something like that. They get 90 points. You're saying City will get more and Chelsea will get more? That's what you're telling me.
I'm saying
Chelsea and City.
You're going to see in those matches where they squeaked one out that they won't, that it'll be a draw instead of a win. Okay. Or it'll be a loss instead of the draw. Or whatever it is, there'll be those ones. And it just adds up to where they'll probably end up, I'm saying probably like 85 points.
85 points? I'm writing that down. Right now, I'm writing that down. 85 points.
Put it on the tape. Save it on the tape. 85 points.
85 points for Eric. I can't write, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm telling you.
I will never forget that number. You cannot go back on it.
No. Oh, the over-under is set at 85.
Okay. I'm all in. Let's talk about under. Your Newcastle squad. What do you got for me, brother?
All right. Well, this is always the time of the show where we go to somebody that actually does crack reporting and that doesn't talk shit like us. Our man on the streets of Newcastle, Andrew Wells.
Hello, this is Andrew Wells, live from Newcastle, and he has a report from this week. Well, obviously, once again, I'm going to have to start with takeover stuff, and basically that BN group that came out of the blue the other day. Well, basically, they've been exposed as frauds, really, because I think it's Reuters or something. I can't remember the name, but they did a report, like forensics on them and stuff, and they ended up basically finding out that they were photoshopping every image of every picture they posted up online. And that obviously links in with what Shearer was saying, they had no contacts. So basically, they're just a bunch of time wasters on that, if I'm being 100% honest. So we can put that one to bed on that. So. But moving on to the main one, the whole Saudi takeover, there's been reports in the papers over here that Stavely Payev and the Rubens think they're quietly confident of making a compromise for the Premier League after Masters talked to the fans via a Zoom call, and they openly said they would try and get, if they came back, they would let them in. So we'll see how that one goes. But the fact is, people are still asking where on earth are PAF coming out with their statements and Stavely and all that. So people are just like, basically, we've done our bit. We need your bit now to say yes, we are still interested. But we don't know if we're going to get that, because if they are, then obviously not going to play it out in the public in case something happens again. So yeah, again, to wait and see. But that's obviously going to be dragging off a month, this, if I'm being honest. So I'll try not to talk about it as much if I can. So I'll stop talking about that now and move on to some other news that came out. With the fans coming back in October, they've released new guidance for capacities of stadiums, and Newcastle's is about 14,240 people allowed in the ground, which is, I believe, the 7th biggest in the UK for it. So obviously I've asked fans about that, and people are just questioning, like, how are they going to manage this with all season tickets? Are they going to, I mean, some people are saying they're probably going to do like a system where it goes in alphabet, goes like A to S, get it 1 week, and then then T to Z, get it the next week. But really, I don't see how it's going to work, to be honest, because it's not really fair on the guys who got tickets. But moving on with that, well, and also there's also the fact now that not allowing away fans into the grounds, which I can kind of understand in case like there is flare-ups in certain areas. So, but it's still kind of not really fair. But I mean, it basically everyone's just waiting for the day when they can say, right, we'll go back to full stadiums on that. So, and I'm one of them, because I'll try and get more games this year if I can, once it's over. But other than that, I'm going to move on to some transfer news, and at long last, Hendrick has finally been announced. So that's the second sign of this window, and hopefully many more to come. But I was looking, it looks like it's probably going to be loans, if any, for like big players and like main positions. But there has been a report in Greece that we are close to signing a left back from, I believe it's PAOK Thessaloniki or something. I've probably just butchered that name, but he's meant to be linked to the one Liverpool. He's meant to be similar to the Liverpool left back that they got, but he's slightly a little bit more faster. And in 100% honesty, that's all I can report this week. And hopefully there's a little bit more news next week, and hopefully some more incomings. And so until then, I'll talk to you all next week.
All right, as always, I want to thank Andrew for that report. He did a really good job of breaking down the chicanery and tomfoolery that was that BN takeover group.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much anyone's really followed that, but they came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, like they had all these pictures. They were like, I think they do actually have a lot of money. But I think what they're trying to do is raise the profile of their organization by acting like they were in a takeover bid or something like that, so that people just start going, ooh, we should see who they are. What are they all about? But they photoshopped all of their pictures that showed all this stuff. And when people found out, they're like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
I knew when Alan Shearer denied that he had anything to do with these clowns, and they had said, no, we offered him a role. He could have any job he wants at the club. And he was like, I don't even know what these people are talking about. I was like, oh, this is some high level bullshit. But I'm so worn out from the one that's even dragging on now that I didn't even have any time to get involved in that nonsense.
Yeah, I can't believe, you're not buying that. Yeah,
no,
you're not buying it.
No way. But, the idea that we finally got some answers from the Premier League, and they said, the deal's not really dead. We just asked for some additional things, and they didn't give it to us. And if they were to give us those things in a satisfactory way, that we would be willing to pass it. Now the ball's back in the Saudis' court, which I don't understand, because they were saying something about it being state-owned, and they had concerns that it would be state-owned.
Right.
But if you look at Man City, they're state-owned. It's the same. So I don't know if that even makes sense. I feel like the Premier League's still trying to like dance around and walk that line where they don't really say no, and they don't put themselves in a situation where they could end up getting sued. But I don't know. We're moving on. We got the cabbage.
You're starting the season the same way you left it off. I can't. You know what? all this time that you talked about, I don't believe in the takeover. It's not going to happen. I'm skeptical. I'm cynical. I got to admit, on the other end, listening to you all these weeks, I was like, it's going to happen. I was a little excited for you in that I wanted to see, first of all, how you'd mess it up even with all this money. But I actually thought it was going to happen. I fell into the trap.
I'm not counting on it, but it could end up happening. You never know.
I know, but I thought it was going to happen 4 months ago. I really did.
Like Andrew said, there's an MP in the area that has.
I keep thinking that's military police.
No, member of parliament that from the area that has her own 15,000 signatures, requesting more answers, or trying to get to the bottom of it. Like Andrew was talking about the idea that maybe the Saudis aren't saying anything because everyone's like, okay, ball's back in your court, time to say something. But maybe they realize we got so burned by coming out in public with all these things when we thought it was a done deal. We don't want to say anything else. So anything that's happening now is probably happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I just would like them to either say yes or kill it so that people don't have to keep talking about it. Because poor Wellesley's got to go out in public and be like, hey, what do you think about that? They're like, are you fucking serious going on about this still? Like, the poor guy. Remember back in the day, we're going to have to give him a flak jacket. We're going to have to get the full riot gear.
He's a motorcycle helmet.
We're going to send him out to keep talking about this because people are they're shot. They're emotionally drained. They realize we've got the cabbage and a bunch of lone players to deal with to try and fight off relegation next season. All of the teams that came up, they look like really decent. Like
Leeds looks good. Leeds looks good. And Fulham actually looks interesting.
Fulham looks interesting, and they signed Anthony Robinson.
Yeah.
So Full America back.
MLS player, yeah.
So really.
Oh no, I'm sorry, my bad. I want to save a Fudo, not MLS player. He played in the championship last year, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, my bad.
Stop. Yeah.
Did he ever play in the MLS? No.
Yeah, you're thinking the other Robinson.
I know. So Smokey Robinson.
His brother Smokey. So if you look at the fact that the teams coming up aren't shit, there's not going to be another Norwich that just goes, hey, we don't care. We're just going to play open football. If we get blown out 5-0 every game, no big deal. Maybe we'll win against City and have some fun. Like, it's not going to be that. I'll know probably by middle of October if we're getting relegated or not. You'll just have that feeling where, like, if we fluke some more results or whatever, you think, oh, we might be able to pull it off again. But if it's just dire football and we're not getting anything close to result, you'll know in October if we're down.
Are you seeing players like a Jolinton start again? Is he just going to start again and play?
Well, here's the problem. Like, what are your options? So you've got
I know.
Andy Carroll's good for about 55 minutes before he gets injured in the match. If he could stay healthy all season, he would start ahead of him. You've got Muto, who I think never really got a fair shot.
Yeah.
I mean, with Jolinton coming in and costing so much money, it's almost like you have to play him.
I get it, but if you're a good coach, I'd put a young guy in and forget about Jolinton.
We need a striker, like any type of actual real. I mean, that's why the Wilson. We're never going to spend the money to get him, but that's what you want. Someone who's done it somewhere and has played. And
what about this guy from Germany? This guy who scored a few goals. Didn't you sign him?
No, but look.
Didn't he get 10 goals last year or something?
Again, you don't want people from outside the Premier League because even people you look at for every Suarez or I'm trying to think of these strikers that came in, Aubameyang or people that came from other leagues and just tore it up right away. There's 50 guys that were killing it in another league.
And look, in the Dutch league, I love it. It's a top league, but they don't play any defense. Josie Altidore scored 1 million goals, then comes and he scores 1 for Hull or something.
Right? Yeah, for every Suarez, there's 50 Altidores.
Michael Bradley, remember him for Heerenveen? He scored a ton of goals.
So I mean that's my worry. We don't need a potential guy. We need someone that will score at least 10, hopefully.
You need a 12-goal scorer. Yeah, you need somebody.
Yeah, 10 to 15 guy that you can count on that's a lock and that also comes up in the big moments. We don't need someone that's going to, score one when we're down 3-0 and the other team's gone to sleep. And it's like, yeah, so he's got 12. We need big game, like when it matters, someone's going to put some goals.
What's your over-under on Mitrovic scoring the Premier League for Fulham? Do you think he's going to get 10 to 12 goals?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you guys look bad.
It's funny because he's like bringing him up is the same thing as bringing Rafa up to Newcastle supporters at this point. People just want to punch you in the face. It's like, it's fucking over. He left. It's gone. Don't talk about it anymore. And it's the same with Mitrovic. Like, there's a group of people like me that never wanted him to leave, that really love the guy, even though he's a nutter. I mean, you remember, did you watch the playoff championship? When he's in there?
That give and go he had.
Yeah, but I mean, he does like 2 or 3 just amazing things. But then
he's a red card waiting to happen, right?
But if you know that and you're good and you're like, he's going to give you 12 to 15. I mean, it's worth it in the end. As long as it's not in those big moments where like you completely fuck a result. That you don't need that. But I mean, I like a guy with an edge. I want.
No, I know you do. I think he's a guy who would do well on the team. Man, yeah, it's tough. You got a tough way of going at this, man. I think you needed the money. You needed a transfer kitty. You needed some energy in this team,
That's what it is. People aren't even saying like, oh, we want to be Real Madrid. We want to be Manchester United or Liverpool, like buy every top player, all of that. They're like, we just would like an owner that was trying to win something, maybe an FA Cup, maybe a Carabao Cup, or like qualify for the Europa League, or just some ambition. That is all they want.
Yeah, I was excited about you getting some money, an injection of life into the club, and it would be more fun for us to talk about this. You'd close the gap from like 50 points maybe to 35 to Liverpool, and we'll see. We'll see. You know what? You got the cabbage. Yeah, there's nothing more bland than a cabbage, a cooked cabbage, and that's your coach.
There's
just bland.
In our offense.
He steams a lot, sweats a lot. It's just, kind of bulbous.
How's the baby, you'd say?
Yeah. The cabbage patch. All right. Any more notes before we move on to the Champions League, which was the big game this weekend? Anything else? No. Okay. Let's get to this Champions League. First of all, I was worried yesterday because I didn't hear from you. And I was out doing something. I was like, should I text him and tell him not to tell me the score because I am recording it? But he's going to give me so much crap for recording it and not watching it live.
Was it actually on regular CBS or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because it
was on. Yeah. It wasn't on regular CBS, which is like a network thing here in the States. But I got it on YouTube TV on my TV. Yeah.
Oh, because I know you had to have the app.
No, you didn't need it for this game. I think they put it on special for just everybody. So, before we get to the game.
I knew you were recording it.
Did you watch it live?
Of course.
Yeah. So I knew you did, but I was like, I didn't hear from you. I was like, I haven't heard from him, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I did watch the game. And real quick, the coverage of the game. Pretty good. It's like you said, Jamie Carragher, Michael Richards, not Michael Richards from Seinfeld. Who else did they have? Who was the other commentator?
They still have Kate Abdo.
She was good. Yeah. She seemed better on CBS than Fox.
Yeah, because she's not carrying those knuckleheads. No. Stu Holden and Marisa do. Yeah, I mean,
they had a third person. I thought
Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, okay. And then in Portugal, they had Peter Schmeichel and some other woman who I didn't recognize as your like on at the scene host. They were really good.
Yeah.
And then they had a Newcastle guy on. Janus, wasn't he on Newcastle? Jermaine Janus? Janus? Yeah. Newcastle guy. He was one of the broadcasters. The problem was somebody at CBS said, hey, this game is going to the States, so dummy it down. And the poor British guy, who was the other commentator, said some really embarrassing things like, the Champions League is one of the biggest tournaments in the world. It's kind of like the World Series. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. I'm like, no. Don't dummy it down that much for us Americans. So, but it was a good game. It was a good game.
My issue is they're new to hosting it.
Yeah.
And because it's CBS, if you looked at the the amount of like other shows that are on the app. Like I bought the Peacock app, which is NBC, replaces NBC Sports Gold, because if you want Premier League next year, you got to have this app. But they have a million good movies, TV shows, like other things on it. So for my $10 a month or whatever it is, I'm able to use it for more than just watching Premier League. There is nothing besides this on the CBS app. I know why they're forcing people at gunpoint to buy the CBS app, because this thing is a dumpster fire. Like, if you had it for free and the Champions League wasn't on there, I would delete it from my thing.
You know, people who don't live in the States, CBS I don't know if they've ever had any soccer coverage in their history. They've been around forever, and I don't think CBS has ever done it. So I give them credit for hiring the right people. Right. They hired some good people. But it's a joke that they're doing all the Champions League. So we got to watch them next season with Champions League.
Yeah.
That's going to be it, man. So let's get to the game. I was excited for this one. I can't believe everybody in the studio picked PSG. I didn't know what they were looking at.
You were excited, but not enough to watch it live.
I don't want to tell you what I was doing.
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. You really don't. You really don't want to know. I'm not going to tell you. I was with my lovely fiance Nancy. We were something I couldn't get out of. Anyway. So I watched it later on. Luckily, you didn't tell me the score. I thought Bayern was going to win this game all along before it kicked off. I don't know what people saw with PSG. Look, it was a close game. I mean, 1-0. But I just felt like Bayern had so much talent on the field. They were so much more balanced.
And look, and PSG they were close. They were never.
Oh no, Mbappe should have finished.
The problem is Bayern don't look like they're ever going to concede a goal ever. Like, I mean, Neuer, man, like he
had a great game.
3 saves that you were just like, get out of here. Any other keeper, I mean, besides like 1 or 2 other guys in the world, those are goals. Yeah. So I mean, when the defense did break down, because I mean, you look at the firepower in PSG. When the defense finally did break down, it didn't matter because Neuer's back there stopping everything. And I'm with you.
Mbappe didn't have a good game though. His finishing wasn't good. Mbappe.
No, but he's been injured.
Yeah,
it was I think his first full game back, or did he? I thought he.
No, he looked rusty. He looked rusty.
Yeah.
Neymar
cried his eyes out.
So we'll get to that in a minute. I have something on that later on, but something about Neymar I don't root for. I don't know if people really like him or not out there, but for me, knowing all his off-the-field stuff, look, I don't know if he's a bad guy or anything, but all his partying and just he seems a bit selfish. So I wasn't pulling for him. And then Thomas Tuchel doesn't seem like a very likable guy either. Nobody liked him at Dortmund. Nobody liked him at Dortmund.
I like him even less with the boot.
Yeah, and then
I don't know why, but that really bothered me. I'm like, stop hobbling around like that.
I didn't know he had the boot on until they pulled back. He was sitting on like a cooler. I was like, what a lazy guy. He's just sitting down the whole time. They're like, oh, he's got a boot on. Oh, okay. Did he wait to have surgery or whatever?
Yeah, I feel like he was milking it.
Yeah, he was milking it.
You've seen me before. I remember a game where we were playing indoor, and the game had just started. It was like 2 seconds in. The first kick comes to me, and I go to trap it and just roll the shit out of my ankle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I went down, and everyone's looking at me like, what the hell happened? There's like no one near me. I'm just like, holy crap. So I hop over on 1 foot to the bench. Everyone keeps going. I pull out the tie-up, lace-up ankle brace that I have in my bag that I carried around with me because this is not the first time I've done this kind of stuff. Lace that sucker up super tight, put the shoe back on, go back in and play the whole game. Yeah. Now, we get done after.
Right.
And, I take that thing off, drink a couple beers. It blew up like a fucking balloon. And you remember we were at a Crew game later. I still have the picture. I've actually put it on Twitter. But if you search through all our pictures on Twitter, you see it. But you can't even see. It's like this big blob with tiny little dots that are like my toes like sticking out. Yeah. And I walked at the damn Crew game with it with like nothing on it. He was milking it, man. I don't care what he did.
You were tough, Eric Neal.
Wobbling around. Come on, man. Come on.
He should have drank some beers like you, and he would have felt numb, bro.
Yeah, look, a pitcher and a couple shots of Jaeger, man, you're good to go.
Now, real quick, I was excited about this game too, because I recorded it. I want to see how Alphonso Davies played, because he's our adopted son, even though he's Canadian. So he had a couple plays defensively that were a little shaky. And then he came into the game. He didn't have a great game crossing the ball. He was fine. But then he had some great defensive plays. And that was the kind of slight criticism of him, is that he's a true winger. He's so offensive-oriented. He's so fast. People are calling him like he could be one day one of the best like backs in the world. He had some great defensive plays last night. So it was weird. He didn't have a great offensive game. His defensive game was really good. And I felt so proud of him, and I realized, why am I so proud of him? Why? He's Canadian. I mean,
we get nothing out of it.
I have no connection. Even the MLS team he came from was Canadian. Yeah. There's nothing American about this guy, but I felt proud of him.
He's North American.
There's American in the name. So, again, I'm adopting him. He looks class. Craig Burley on ESPN FC, the former Chelsea player, was going nuts about him. And that guy doesn't give plaudits to anybody. And he went nuts on him, said he had a great game for Bayern Munich yesterday. And Thiago, great game, as I said earlier. Lewandowski is class. He hit the post, I think.
Did you see that? Did you see the Whitecaps get $1 million?
$1 million
because he won the Champions League.
How they think of putting that clause in, right?
I love to see that. Think about that. If they use that on a player, I mean, they could get, they could do something.
It said win it. It didn't say be in it. They had to win it to get $1 million.
I don't know. All I said was because of that win, they got $1 million extra.
So think about it. It's such a dumb thing. If I'm Bayern Munich, I'd be like, hey, look, man, we want to take less money. We're going to give you less money up front, but if you win the Champions League, give you $1 million. That's not very much. I'd be like, hey, here, we'll give you 20 because we know he's not going to make the first team. He's not going to play. So 20, we'll give you 20 million. It's not that much.
I mean,
for an MLS team, it is.
No, for how much money Bayern has and how much money they just got in the Champions League, they could drop that out of their pocket and they wouldn't even realize it was gone. So
they're good. So
but for Whitecaps, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Put your TAM, your GAM, and whatever else they got, your SAM, and your $1 million together, and you could maybe get somebody.
Yeah, you might get somebody. So it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I watched it last night, 2 hours after it aired, but who cares? Let's move on to the Europa League.
Yeah.
Everybody on that dumb ESPN FC panel that I watch had Inter Milan win. Everybody. But nope, Inter Milan blows it. Lukaku own goal. Lukaku! Sevilla wins their 6th Europa League title.
What can you do, though? I mean, look, there's some, boneheaded own goals.
Right.
I feel like he had to do it. It was coming in at him last second. Yeah. I mean, there was nothing he could do, man.
So Lukaku is, polarizing in a way. People talk about him this guy had 30-something goals, 34 goals in all competitions, which is world class. But people still get on him. He doesn't really come up in the big games. He's kind of hot and cold. I think he's a great player. I thought he was okay with Manchester United even. I don't think he was the problem. No, I think Conte's the problem. They brought on all these subs, Victor Moses, everybody from the Premier League who sucks. Sanchez, Moses, and Eriksson they brought on. Those were the subs. It's all right, that's the bench. They're all good names, but, they all not that great. Why doesn't Eriksson start? Why doesn't he start?
He was a shell of his former self. I don't know. And here's the funny thing, too, because he thought he was going to Real Madrid for 3 windows in a row. It was this is going to be a time. And every time Spurs were I don't think so.
I know.
And so by the time that he was ready to go, he wasn't him anymore. He wasn't the same level. And so for him, he was so dead set. He's like, fuck this, I'm leaving. They finally let him out, but it's Inter is your big move.
I know.
How is moving from any team in the Premier League and going to Inter your big move?
No, 15 years ago would have been, going to Italy, Inter Milan, would have been a big move, but not anymore.
Yeah, 15 years ago, I was DJing in nightclubs and having a fun time and doing all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah.
Hair, I didn't have hair then.
Exactly. 15 years ago, lots of things were happening.
Lots of things were happening.
Right now, going to Inter, is like going in here and having the 3-year-old twin.
I asked you last week, is it a big deal? Sevilla keeps winning this Europa League. Well, I want to ask you again, like, it's kind of a cool accomplishment. It's kind of like,
Before I would say no, but now that you get into the Champions League for winning it, I think it's a big deal. Yeah. Plus, think about what it would have been to Man U fans who are like, oh, it's a stupid trophy anyway, now that like all this has happened. But think about if they would have won it. They would have been like, oh, we're taking that step. Ole's won a trophy. We've done something. They would have treated it like a big deal if they would have won it. Yeah. And so to me, I think it is a big deal. Just like, Chelsea winning it. That got them, Champions League. They did pretty well in it this year. It was a trophy. Sarri got sacked. For some reason at Chelsea, if you win things, they sack you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a big deal, and it was a cool story, too.
Yeah. So you brought up Solskjaer and Manchester United. What do you think about Pogba? Looks like he's going to sign a contract. After all this drama these last couple of years and his stupid agent, Raiola, bashing Manchester United, it looks like he might sign with them again.
I think if he plays to his level that he could play and gives a shit during the games, then I think it's a great move. Because they're not in the place now where they can attract another guy of his stature. Like, I'm sorry, Manchester United. They can get Sancho, who by all appearances is going to be a really good world-class guy for a lot of years, but they're not able to attract that finished product, 26-year-old like name player anymore. That they're leveled down in recruiting from that. So you can get rid of him, but you're not going to be able to replace him. So if he's there, he's not injured, he wants to be there, and he puts in the shifts and the effort, then why wouldn't you?
I think like the guy like Bruno Fernandes playing alongside him, like we always said, like at Juventus, he needed good players around him. Yeah. It'll make him better. So, I think it's an okay signing. Not signing, but I think it's a good keeping him makes sense. Good for you, Manchester United. Maybe.
Did you hear the story about the manager of Sevilla, though?
No.
Do you remember why he was so emotional that he won it and where he'd come from?
No.
So before the Russia World Cup, he was the manager of the Spanish national team.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so it was coming down to I want to say days before the tournament was about to kick off. He'd been negotiating with Real Madrid to become Real Madrid's manager after the World Cup. And so instead of looking out for himself and just being a selfish guy and being smart about it, he told the Spanish Federation, hey, I just want to give you a heads up, after the tournament, I'm going to take this Real Madrid job. I just want to, I love this and my head's in it and I care and I want to win the World Cup and this is all great. And the guy from the Federation, the president of the Federation, got pissed and just sacked him right there.
I remember that. Yep.
So he couldn't coach the team. The players begged. I heard Sergio Ramos even was like, I want this guy. Like, you have to keep this guy. So he goes out and then flames out right after that Real Madrid. I think they said he was sacked from the Spanish national team and Real Madrid 130 days apart from each other. So you go from your career, one of the top national teams in the world, what you would probably say is the top club team in the world, at least for history and name recognition and things like that. And it's like you're gone, everything's taken away from you, and you're like, I had it all, and now it's complete shambles. And so for him to come back and take that team, who are not the Spanish national team and who are not Real Madrid, and accomplish what he accomplished, beating some very good teams. Inter and Manchester United, no slouches. I think it was a big achievement for him. And, I've got something later in the show about that as well. But,
I agree with you.
Cool story, man.
Kind of just wrapping up talking about Europe. What did you think about I want to give you my Fudo, Ronald Koeman for Barcelona. Yeah, he never coached Barcelona. I said last week he coached at some point Barcelona, but obviously he's a legend there.
Yeah, he played for them, yeah.
No, I know. I just want to get my Fudo out of the way. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. It was his brother, Bob Koeman. What do you think about Messi? You think he's staying or going?
Well, he has a year left on his contract.
Right. So
the only way he gets out this year, do you want to know what his buyout clause is?
How much?
$700 million.
Yeah, but they could terminate his contract or just,
No, No, they could, but they don't have to, is what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
He's got a contract, and if you want to force it out, you got to pay. You can buy 2 Newcastles for 1 Messi.
I think one Messi would probably go top 10 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It looks like they're cleaning house. I'll get to that later also about our buddy Luis Suarez. Looks like Barcelona's just cleaning house a little bit. They're going to.
No, I agree, but I mean, in a way, if I'm Barca, how much do you think? Here's bonus ask you anything.
Yeah.
How much do you think you could get for Messi? Really? Because no one's paying First of all, you can't do it with financial fair play. You can't spend $700 million on one player. But just say if you were going to Barcelona, he wants to leave. There's a year left on the deal. How much would you take?
No, I mean, with all that happening, if I'm PSG or some big club, I'm not going to offer much. Here's $100 million. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my number. $100 million.
$100 million. You don't want it? Fine. We don't want Messi, but I mean,
for 200, you can get Mbappe.
Yeah.
And you've got 10 more years.
But here's the problem: Messi owns his image rights. He's got some deal so when he's selling jerseys and stuff like that, I think I'll double check. They said that he owns something with his rights. You're not getting as much money for him on the merchandise and other things like that.
And look, here's the thing: guy is still amazing. Yeah. But the days of him taking over a match and winning it for you single-handedly are over, as evidenced by them getting done 8-2 by Bayern Munich.
I had an idea. What if MLS comes in? Bear with me for a minute. So we got 28 teams, whatever, 26, I don't even remember. Each owner ponies up $10 million. That's nothing. That's nothing, right? And you just give a cash thing to Messi. Here's $250 million, just cash. And then, play in our league for 3 years, and we'll pay you a salary of 10, 15, 20 million a year. And you can have part of your, just some ridiculous package. I don't know where he goes.
No, the only way you do it is how they did the Beckham deal, because at the time, you remember it was a huge fee.
Yeah.
But they also said, we will give you a team
franchise. And that was worth $200 million, right? Because he only paid $25 million for Miami.
Yeah, that's what
now
I'm
these
saying.
Things are going for 300.
So that's what you do. You go to Messi and you go, look, we're going to pay you a lot of money, 20 million a year or whatever. But she doesn't care about the money. But you get to pick what team you want to go to and live wherever you want to live in the United States with your family.
Columbus. Is he going to pick Columbus?
No, he's not picking Columbus. And so it's going to be what? It's going to be Miami. It's going to be LA. New York.
Maybe
whatever.
New York, yeah.
So you do that, though. What you say, then we guarantee you the 31st or 32nd. I don't know what we're up to anymore. With
the 50th team.
You say you get the team. You can put it in whatever market you want. And you're going to be at the end of your career, a team owner.
You know what you offer him? You can put the team in Argentina if you want.
Ooh.
What about that? It's a new MLS team down in Argentina. He lives down there. And he's a player coach, and teams just come visit him. And bow to him.
No away games.
No away games. See, I don't think it's happening. All right, talk about MLS. Let's get to our Columbus Crew, who are Supporter Shield. They're at the top of that list. Yep. They're number 1 in the Eastern Conference. 16 points out of a possible 18. They beat the Chicago Fire on Thursday night. Did you watch the game, Eric Neal? I didn't hear from you during the game.
I did.
Did you watch it live?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I watched it live.
I don't record games and unless there's a death and not if the death happened a while ago and you plan it during the game, then that's not my problem either. It has to be a happening currently death, and then I'll
So I was into this game. Our boy Lucas Zelarayan didn't play because he had a bad ankle, and I was like, okay, whatever. Pedro Santos played the number 10, which he played a lot last year. He looked good. Saint Etienne, that guy from New York Red Bulls, played on the wing. He looked good. He scored a nice goal. But I want to bring up one guy, Darlington Nagbe. Oh, yeah. First of all, what a worldie of a goal. That thing was amazing. The ball comes to Wizard. How far out was it? 24 yards out?
Something like that.
It was outside the 18-yard box. Anyway, he gets the ball. He pops it up to himself and then just kind of swivels his hips, connects on the ball, and rockets it into the goal. It was one of the best goals I've seen in a long time. Now,
It was
I ask
sort of
you.
a hospital ball from Giassi. Like if you look at it, he kind of shorted in on it a little bit. So the defender was closing them down so fast. That's why he had to like step to it and pop it up.
Uh-huh.
But oh, beauty, man! I sent it to Wellesley.
What did he think?
Don't sue me for copyright. I like direct messaged him the goal right after it happened. But no, he was like, "Holy shit, what a goal!" Like, I mean, beautiful.
Yeah. So I want to go over this. They said this man is a passing machine, accurate, right? He has only missed 12 passes all year.
Yeah.
That's 6 games. I don't care what league you play in.
Yeah.
12 passes he missed, something like 90-something percent, high 90s percent.
Yeah. If you're a striker and you miss 12 passes, that would make sense because you're only doing like 3 or 4 a game. Right. But he's in the middle of the midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So watching this guy, he's 29 years old. He's won 2 MLS Cups. I argue that I don't really get why at about 25, 24 years old, he didn't go to Europe. Because he was good then. He won an MLS Cup with Portland. He was good back then. He's still probably one of the best MLS players, midfielders still. It's too late for him to go to Europe now, obviously, but I wonder why he didn't go. Because he is the best player on the crew. He's still, like I said, one of the best midfielders in MLS. I just think he's the reason why the crew are going to be good this year. It's not Lucas Del Rey. I mean, he's going to make us better.
Look, I think it's all part of it. I think it's Porter having another year under his belt of working with everybody. I think it's getting Nagby in. We've got a really good goalie after losing Stefan, and our backup has
Backup's not bad.
Yeah. The backup has 2 shutouts after our main guy got 3 shutouts. So, I mean, if you look at it, we've got 12 goals for and 1 against in 6 matches, man. Yeah. And that was a fluky ass goal in that Seattle game too. I don't remember all the way back to that. Really, we should be 18 points out of 6 matches. I mean, besides the flaky game in the tournament,
which who cares?
Great, man.
Who cares? No. So Zardes, by the way, get him off penalty kicks. He's missed 2 straight.
Yeah,
He had a penalty kick that was just ridiculous. I mean, you could have done better than that. So get him off penalty kicks. Put just anybody else in. Stop with that. But he did get a goal at the end. Zardes, I know you like him because he was so nice to your son Aiden, but he's actually, like we always say, like a really good MLS striker, and he's good enough.
He scored a goal.
Yeah, he scored a goal.
The 3rd goal in the match that he got.
Yep.
He could have easily, at that late in the game, been lazy and straight offside. But you saw him. He dragged his run so that as the guy dribbled in, he could square it to him and he could tap it in. Yeah. It was a good goal, man. But like you said, just take him off penalties. That's the only thing.
Take him off. Put Higuaín on. Oh, wait, he doesn't play anymore for us.
No, it was funny, too, because someone's announcer on the thing said, yeah, that penalty's headed towards Delaware County, which if you don't live around us, that's the county adjacent to us, north of us. And so, like, he sent it. I'm surprised it stayed in the stadium, man. It was the classic FIFA where you just mash the button and it just, woo.
How did it feel to watch Crew Stadium empty? Like, I liked the noise they pumped in. It felt okay. I didn't notice.
The fact that you heard a little bit of noise, which I was imagining was coming from the corner, the supporter section.
Yeah.
And the rest of the stadium was empty. It felt like every other crew match I've ever been to.
I think they said they piped in so the players could hear it. I thought. Some of the stadiums, they pipe in the actual so the players can hear it.
That was in the Champions League, I think. They said.
Oh, was it? Okay. They were really coordinated in the Champions League. Like, to the second, they had people chanting and reacting to plays going out, the ball going out even. It's pretty cool. Tonight, the Crew play New York City FC, who are horrible. That's why I'm worried. Like, I feel like this is a trap game. I see a draw tonight. I see a draw, 1-1 draw. But they're playing at Red Bull Arena. So you got New York City FC. They're playing in New Jersey. They're playing not even at their home stadium. They stink. I don't know why I feel a draw for some reason.
A home game in Cincinnati.
What?
It would be like us playing a home game in Cincinnati.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
They're dangerously close to like never getting a stadium in New York. And the problem is you're not really going to get one. I mean, you're not getting one in Manhattan. And when most people think of New York City, they think Manhattan. That's what they see in their mind. Yeah. Now, you can go to the outer boroughs, right? But as you do that, I mean, Long Island is further away than where Red Bull Arena is.
You don't want to do Long Island. That's just not going to work.
But I mean, you look at Queens.
Well, think of the Bronx near Yankee Stadium, which that's not bad because transportation, I'm from New York, so transportation is fine. And people will go from Manhattan up to the Bronx. It's not a problem. But if you start going far out to Queens or Long Island, that's a problem. That's not going to work.
I'm telling you, it's closer in New Jersey, right across the river, than it is to any of those places.
New York Red Bulls do not bring in crowds. Like, they bring in the same amount of crowd attendance as the Crew. And we know they're near the bottom usually. Red Bulls have a beautiful stadium right near Newark, New Jersey. Why they're called New York Red Bulls is the stupidest thing ever. But anyway, it just doesn't work. I've been to that stadium. It's beautiful. It's like a European-style stadium. Holds about 25,000 people, but they get like 12,000 because nobody wants to travel 40 minutes from Manhattan out there. So
it's the same thing as the New York Giants, though, right? The New York Giants and the Jets, they play at the Meadowlands, which is in
New Jersey.
No, but here's the problem. You want to have a New York team, but it's the most expensive real estate anywhere in the world. So even to park a car, like if you bought a space just for one car, that's going to cost you more than the whole parking lot would cost to build at the Red Bull Arena. So there's no way for them to do it. Now, like you said, you can go to the Bronx, but even the Bronx is getting gentrified. And so, I mean, you're going to have to probably go to Queens, which all of a sudden you're friggin' out there, man. It's not really in New York. You can say it's in one of the boroughs, it's New York, but it's not what people think of when they think of New York.
Well, there's a hockey team called the New York Islanders. They played out on Nassau County in Long Island. And they weren't considered a New York City team, but they were called the New York Islanders. It was horrendous, man. I went to a game once. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get there by train. It doesn't work. You can't do that.
Buffalo's in New York, too.
Yeah, that's true. All right, real quick. Did you watch any other MLS games? I didn't.
No.
You didn't watch El Tráfico? Galaxy versus.
You know what?
LAFC?
I lied. I did watch El Tráfico.
Oh, you watched a little of it? Okay.
No, I actually watched it live too. Yeah, no, I was watching. I'm like, this is going to be an ass whipping. Everybody thought it was going to be another one for LAFC. And Guillermo Barros Scalotto, that was our Crew legend, whatever, is the manager of LA Galaxy. I mean, on the chopping block, they were basically saying he's going to have to get a bus home or an Uber or something from this game if they lose. And if they lose bad, they're going to leave him in his underwear. They're taking the tracksuit back, the shoes, everything. He was
back to Boca Juniors.
He was that close to being gone, and they put in an amazing performance. Now look, Vela's back from injury. Bob Bradley, maybe they're getting tired of getting shouted at all the time. I don't know. It's just, you never know. But I still don't see Scalotto as the long-term answer to Galaxy. And I don't see how they go forward without replacing Zlatan. Not just all the goals, but that world-class, that top-level guy.
Look, Chicharito is going to be a bust. He's going to be a bust. I'm telling you.
I mean, they're getting punked by LAFC. Because LAFC is actually in LA. They're downtown. Galaxy, Carson, it's downtown adjacent. You can see downtown from there, but it's not really LA.
The Red Bulls. You can see New York City from Red Bull Arena.
Right.
But it's not.
But that's not it. So I mean, for them to stay because they're the originals. They've got 5 or 6 MLS titles. Yep. I mean, if they're gonna stay relevant, they're going to need to keep at the level that LA.
So here's the rumor: they just signed Jonathan Klinsmann, the goalie.
Oh yeah.
And rumor is that Jurgen might get the job.
He's got.
And if that happens, I heard there'll be protests. Nobody wants that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the man's got a house in Newport Beach. It's right there on the.
No, he's lazy. He wants to just be in LA, and he's got his son back with him, and he wants to coach. He'll last 6 months, and then he'll be annoyed and quit. That's it. All right. Speaking of quitting, that's all I have.
Yeah, that's it. And you already busted out your Fudo. So.
Yeah, we only had one Fudo. That's not bad, right? Or one Fudo that I noticed. right, Eric Neal, let's get off my lawn time. I'm going to make this quick because we already kind of talked about the Champions League. We talked about I don't love Neymar a lot. Not my favorite player in the world. Look, he's talented, but he could do a lot more. But he's not the person I want off my lawn. I want opposition players to get off my lawn, specifically Bayern Munich players, because you know what? This pisses me off in general when, you lose, Neymar loses the title and he's crying. And players on the other team come over to him and start consoling him while he's crying, holding him. I don't care if they're Brazilian. Don't go over to Neymar and say, hey, it's all right, man. You gave all the effort you could. This is, I don't know who's saying this in Brazilian. Portuguese, sorry. But I don't know. Somebody was hugging him for like 5 minutes and he had a Bayern Munich shirt on. I don't know who that was. But I want these people to get off my lawn. It's kind of like when NBA players share the same agents and they're all friends. Like, no, you're enemies. You're against each other. Neymar should go cry by himself or cry with his teammates, not opposition. So all those players on Bayern Munich are consoling little Neymar. Oh, poor little Neymar. Get off my lawn.
I can live with that. It was kind of annoying. I mean, it was a nice gesture at the time, but then they were like making sweet love at the midfield for like 20 minutes. I was like, come on,
maybe
man.
It was a PSG player. When they switch, they exchange shirts, and then you put the other team's shirt on, and maybe it was a PSG player in disguise. No, it was a Bayern Munich player, and it made me ill. Anyway, what do you got?
Look, it's very juvenile of me to think it, but I was like in my mind like, get a room. Like, come on, what's going on? Too much. So anyway, my Gomel this week goes to Stuart Holden. Now he's been, I don't know why, just chapping my ass lately. Yes. But somehow he keeps coming up, and it's just like the guy's just bugging the shit out of me. Now his wife is from Columbus.
I know.
He married that yoga instructor from Columbus, and I remember this all started with him annoying me when American, the college football playoff was happening and the Buckeyes were playing Clemson and we were beating them, and then they came back in the end and he was like laughing it up. And I'm like, isn't your wife from Columbus? Well, I guess he went to Clemson.
He went to Clemson, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't follow where American players went to college generally. So I was like, what the fuck is your problem, man? Your wife, come on, OSU. Anyway, so he's always bugging the shit out of me. Well, the FIFA 2022 World Cup qualifying schedule came out for okay? And we start out in June of 2021. So about 6 months from now. Yep. He's like, no, that's wrong. It's like 10, 11 months from now. It's a long time. Anyway, next summer, hopefully when everything's back to normal, we'll have our games. And so the first couple are against these group stage winners. What they did is they got rid of the hexagon, and now they have the octagon.
The octagon.
And some people call it the Oc. I don't like that. I think it sounds corny as hell. But anyway, it's the Ocho. So there's some teams that are already in. So it looks like you've got Costa Rica, Jamaica, Honduras, Mexico, United States. Straight in. Those teams are in no matter what. And then these other teams play a mini tournament to get the final spots. So, the big one that everyone's looking forward to is when's Mexico, right? Yes. That's always the number one thing in qualifying that we're always going after. So October 2021, okay, so a year from this October, at home against Mexico. And then we end up in January 2022 is away in Mexico. So we'll probably be at the Azteca again, right. High altitude, people throwing piss
getting thrown on it, piss
all the fun stuff, right? So anyway, this is what burns my ass here. So Stu, and this wasn't his only post about this, but this is the one that sent me over the edge. He said, okay, the one we've been waiting for. World Cup qualifying dates versus Mexico. USA home versus Mexico, October 2021. USA at Mexico, January 2022. The age-old question, where do you play Mexico in October? He says, number 1, Minnesota. Number 2, Portland and Seattle. Grass, please. You would have to put the turf or the sod over the turf, which is always a shit show. Every time they have those summer games, you see big patches of dirt flying everywhere. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah. Number 3, wild card, Columbus new stadium, ? Doesn't have the same appeal.
As what?
as Columbus, who's hosted every single U.S.-Mexico match for the past, 5 cycles.
Yeah, 2002. You go back to.
Right. So I'm like, Columbus 3? You know what doesn't have the same appeal? The Champions League now that you're gone. Just kidding. It's much better. Minnesota in October? Clown. So I'm sitting here just like, what in the hell is wrong with this guy? What are you thinking? How anti-Columbus do you have to be? Why would us having a very successful run, we had a fluky result against Mexico the last time around
because of Klinsmann playing 3 in the back.
You had how many? 3 or 4 Dos Aceros in a row. It's always a super pro 4 in a row. Super pro U.S. crowd. I don't like the idea anyway. I went on another one of those posts later and blasted them saying, how insecure do you have to be to try and go to the coldest place you can find in October to play Mexico? Why don't we just try and be better than Mexico?
Let's go to Anchorage. Is there anybody in Anchorage we could?
That was the joke. Everyone was laughing. They're like Barrow, Alaska. It's at the North Pole. No, we don't need to do that. We've got players now that should be able to compete with Mexico. But I'm for any place. I'm not anti-Minnesota. I'm for any place that will have a pro-U.S. crowd. Obviously, you're not trying to go to Arizona or New York or Los Angeles where it's going to be 80% Mexican fans. Nothing against the Mexican fans. They were great when they came to Columbus. We didn't have any trouble. It was always a fun atmosphere.
We won a home field advantage here.
But we won the home field advantage. But why do you have to try and move it to the coldest place you can think of? And so I'm really annoyed with the guy. He keeps talking crap about Columbus and we lost 1 game out of 5 cycles against Mexico at the place. Every other one, we beat them 2-0. And we're going to have the brand new stadium, beautiful state-of-the-art stadium. Why would you not bring it back to Columbus? There's no reason not to.
It's perfectly set up. Let's exercise that one loss. We have this great new stadium.
Yeah, instead we're going to put sod on top of fake turf in Seattle. That sounds like a great idea. So anyway, Stuart Holden, for being a Columbus-hating moron, get off my lawn.
All right, Eric, I got a big question for you. We've been talking a lot about the crew this episode, so I'm going to keep it crew-related for Ask Me Anything. Just a quick one here. You're a crew man. You love your crew, not as much as me, but I'm going to give you some names of some players. I want you to give me your all-time crew player. Now, it seems kind of obvious, what you're going to pick, but I want the Eric Neal version of your, forget goals and stats. Who's the guy who embodies who Eric Neal is and the crew? Is it Guillermo Barros-Schelotto, who is one of our great players? Is it Federico Bobby Higuain, who I think won't be because you're pissed off at him about some controversy with penalty taking? Is it Brian McBride, which is obviously one of our most accomplished players, but he had 161 appearances, 62 goals for the crew before he went to Europe. Great player in Europe, but I want that to skew it. Frankie Haydick, the crazy knucklehead who's got an aqua lung, won the MLS Cup with us. He's a great player. Zach Steffen went to Man City. Will Trapp is a staple here. Kai Kamara, we only had for a year and a half, but we loved him. Or Giassi Zardes, who was so nice to your son, Aiden. Those are the selections you can pick from. Who do you got?
So, is the question just who's my favorite player or who embodies the crew?
Who embodies the crew? You move into Columbus, nostalgia, grit, the guy who embodies the way you play.
Look, it's got to be Haydick. It's got
yes.
to be. Brian McBride was infinitely more talented than I could ever
not
dream.
The best player. This is an Eric Neal guy.
When you look at somebody who, like me, came from California,
bingo,
but moved to Columbus and made Columbus his home. Not I'm just playing here and then I leave the second the season's over.
And the biggest connection is massive drinkers.
Oh God, yeah. No, look, dude loves the party. You would see him out with the people. Frankie's always with the people. We've had drinks with Frankie before.
Yeah, oh yeah. I did an interview with him once.
You find the guy out at the bar and you're like, let me get you a beer. He's like, cool,
I couldn't get the guy to shut up. I was like,
No,
okay, Frankie, it was good seeing you. Can I go now? But he kept talking.
I love the guy. He is Columbus Crew.
And he played in Germany, which is you. You love that players go to Europe. He played for, I think, Bayer Leverkusen.
It couldn't be anybody else. Now, look, if you're going like our best player ever, I almost have to go with Higuain because of the longevity of the situation, or Schelotto. I mean, McBride, to me, is more talented than both of them.
Right.
But he didn't play as long with us. So,
Fudo. You're getting a Fudo, Eric
Am I
Neal.
getting a Fudo?
McBride played 7 seasons.
Did he really?
So I think it's longer than Higuain and Schelotto.
Oh, it is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
I swear I didn't think he played that long with us.
96 to 2003.
How long did he play in MLS? Because I swear he spent like longer at other teams combined.
He made 161 appearances with the Crew. I'll have to look it up. But that's like, 7 seasons. That's like 6-7 seasons.
Shoot, then maybe you got to go McBride number 2.
And he's your kind of player, hard-nosed.
Oh, I love
He's got like 18 plates in his head.
Again, went to Europe. Like, he was one of the trailblazers that actually went to Premier League and did well. So, I mean.
Great with Fulham. So, I think you got to go with Frankie Haydick and McBride, too.
Yeah, I go that. And then it comes down to probably Schelotto, then Bobby. Trapp, maybe just because he's a hometown guy, like from, went through the academy. Right. Kamara I love, but I mean, he's immersed.
A year and a half isn't long enough, right?
Yeah.
And Zardes, where do you put Zardes in this? He hasn't been here long enough either, I don't think. He's not your type of player either.
I love Zardes.
I know you do, but he's not your type of player.
He scored a million goals for us. I mean, look, besides just being a good guy and making that video for Aiden and doing all of that when he didn't have to do that, besides that, he's been super productive for us.
Yeah.
I could see him staying here for another 3 or 4 years and averaging 15 to 20 goals every season.
He's got, in his career, I think they said something like 80 goals. He's going to have like 115 to 120 goals in MLS before he's done. That's a lot for this league. And that's good. Good career for him.
Absolutely, man. Oh, I'm for it.
All right. What do you got for me, man?
All right, I saw a really stupid poll, and it's going to be obvious to everybody, but I was curious on your take, because I thought about putting it in the Twitter shout-outs, just like laughing because it was so funny. Yeah. But there was a decent number of people that voted one way that I was surprised about. So someone put here, and I'll just put, it's football polls. They're at football poll 2.
Yeah.
Is Harry Kane better than Robert Lewandowski?
Oh boy.
And so
you think it's obvious?
You don't?
You're going to say, wait a minute. Are you going to say Lewandowski? I assume, right?
That's the way I went. So out of all of the votes in there, 67% said Lewandowski.
No, I'm going with him. So I thought you were tripping me up. Here's the thing. I'm going to make an argument for Kane real quick. Bottom line is this guy should win the Ballon d'Or this year if they ever. I hear there's like a petition for the Ballon d'Or. They want to get it back and reinstated so Lewandowski can win. He should win it this year if they ever come back to that. But here's the thing for Kane. Lewandowski, the amount of goals that you score in the Bundesliga from year to year, it's always so much higher than the highest totals in the Premier League. Now, I'm not backing that up with any stats or figures because that's not what we do on this show. It's just a gut feeling I have. I feel like the German league always has higher goals for the top scorer. So I think Lewandowski has something like 50 goals, like had a shitload of goals. Like he was close to 50. You're not getting that in the Premier League. The defenses aren't that good in Germany. The teams aren't as good. Even with the Premier League being down, somebody had like 20-odd goals. That was the top scorer this year. So Kane consistently gets over 20 goals, except for his injuries. I would say it's close, but Lewandowski is the best.
You've got it close.
What?
I've
got it close, yes.
All right, follow-up.
Yeah.
Do you think Harry Kane would score 50 goals if he stuck him on Bayern Munich?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
You don't think so?
As I thought.
I mean, I think Harry Kane the guy's a prolific scorer. I mean, he gets over 20 a year.
Did you see? So I'm watching the Champions League, the final, and this ball gets whipped into him.
I know what you're going to say.
And he chests it. The defender's right on his back. He chests it to himself and then flicks it like with his heel and turns the guy and runs in.
Yeah.
Harry Kane, if you rip that pass to him, it's off in the third row. Like he's a pretty coordinated guy. I've seen him do some like pretty interesting things where you're like, wow, I can't believe he did that. But he's not that.
No. I'm never telling you
he's gifted.
I'm not telling you Kane is a better player than Lewandowski. I'm just saying it's closer than I think people are saying. I really do. I think Kane, all right, I mean, it's 50 goals in all competitions. I don't know how many he had in the Bundesliga, but I think Kane consistently gets 25 to 30 goals in the Bundesliga. I think he does. And I think, can he do everything that Lewandowski can do? No, but there's a lot of things Kane can do that Lewandowski can't. But we'll see.
I can't think of one. I can't.
Yeah, me neither. Kane can't score against Liverpool in the Champions League, but my point is, I just think it's closer than everybody's saying. And I'll leave it at that.
All right.
All right, Eric, I got a Ballon d'Or. It's a quick one. It's not Jose Mourinho. Thank God. He didn't do anything wrong. So, like I said earlier, Barcelona is kind of this cleaning house except for Messi. We assume he's staying. But everybody else is getting shoved out the door. But before Luis Suarez, the biter, the spitter, the former Liverpool great, before he got his contract terminated so he could go find another team, he begged to stay at Barcelona. I'm talking begged. He said, I got to stay. I'll sit on the bench. I'll do whatever it takes. And you know when you do that and the team still says, yeah, we're terminating your contract, you are my bellend, Luis Suarez, because you're a spitter, you're a biter, you're a whiner, you got big buck teeth, and you were begging. And a beggar, man, doesn't look good. When you're begging for scraps and they don't even throw you any scraps, you're a bellend. So that's my quick one. I just want to get Luis Suarez on the Ballon d'Or board. And I want to get him. And where's he going? Into Miami? Where the hell is he going?
I heard back to Ajax.
Oh, come on, man. Okay, he'll score 50 goals there.
Look, would you take him on the crew?
Oh, God. I love him.
I
would love him. As much as I despise this guy, and I was happy when Liverpool got rid of him and showed some morals, like, get him out of here. Although, I wish we got them.
Yeah, morals and a boatload of cash.
God, I mean, he's one of the best strikers in the last 10 years. He's so good. But he's a biter and whatever. On the crew, I would love it. I would love it.
He'd score at least 50 goals.
Oh, God, Inter Miami. But doesn't he seem like the
MLS?
He seems like he'd get to MLS and tank it, though. I feel like he'd be like, eh.
Can you imagine the crying and the rolling around? And God.
Forget it. Yeah, so, anyway, he's a Bellend Award. He's always been a Bellend. He always will be a Bellend.
I think you're right at the end of the day. So Grant Wall had a post.
Is he still working?
Yeah, no, he's freelancing these days. Oh. Yeah, after he got shit canned from his like $4 million a year writing job. It wasn't that.
It was $300,000.
For soccer writing, it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money.
All right, but anyway, he's not my Bellend.
Oh,
it's not him.
Oh,
so let's read. I'll read to you here Grant's quote. So Grant Wall, he's at Grant Wall. Everyone knows the guy. Love him, hate him. He's there. I think Greg Berhalter will end up being a good U.S. men's national team coach, but I can't get over Julian Lopetegui, the coach of Sevilla, telling U.S. Soccer he was interested in the national team job, and U.S. Soccer saying, nah, we're not interested in interviewing you. U.S. Soccer, you are my Ballon Award winners. What the fuck is going on? First of all, Tata Martino, who's now our biggest rivals coach, who's going to just shaft us every single chance he gets. I don't care if you put it in Barrow, Alaska. They're coming for blood, and they're going to do us because Berhalter's a clown. He wants the job. No, thank you. This guy, who's a Spain national team and Real Madrid coach, was interested in the job. No interview. No, thank you. And they stick fucking Berhalter in? What the actual fuck is going on?
I don't know.
I do not believe, like, right when I think I couldn't be more annoyed. I mean, we had this break where there was no national team news. There was nothing. My hatred of everyone had gone down. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Let's kumbaya. Let's just qualify. I'm pissed off again. I'm right back where I was right at the start of all this shit. How could you not at least interview these guys? You've got people that are like natural ability to spot talent, players, to set up our youth teams, to do all these things, to get a world-class manager, and you don't even interview him to stick Berhalter in there. I can't even believe it. It's like so infuriating. I hope Wall is wrong. I hope he's got his facts wrong and he's just making this up, because anybody that is involved with U.S.
No,
soccer
I've heard that.
there, I swear to God, they should all be fired. They should be dragged out and tarred and feathered and walked through the streets. I just can't stand it. So for putting me back over the edge, for me having to probably go get like cholesterol medicine or something now, get my heart checked, U.S. Soccer, you are my bell in the world.
Fucking bellend.
All right, it's time for this week's Twitter shoutouts. As always, a big thank you to our man on the streets of Newcastle, Andrew Wells. He's at Wellsy95NUFC. Also, a giant thanks to @RealUSMNT. This account posts everything you need to know about the men's national team, and they've been retweeting us every week. We really appreciate it. It helps out. Shoot the Defense podcast, they're at Shoot the Defense. The Ball Chat podcast, they're at Ball Chat 1. And the Bryant and Me podcast. Again, thanks for all the retweets. We do really appreciate it. Had some funnies this week that really stood out. Nuruddin, that's at Bearded Genius. He put this tweet out that says Maradona is older than PSG and RB Leipzig combined.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, obviously, you're talking Leipzig bought another team and changed the name, and PSG, I think they're just talking really since the money's coming.
Yeah.
But still, very, very underrated tweet. I thought it was beautiful, and they keep showing Maradona on TV. Man, I love seeing the guy. Man, he's always such a hot mess.
Yeah.
Mail Online, they're at Mail Sport, a newspaper over there in England. Ronald Koeman is already facing the sack at Barcelona next year, with presidential candidate revealing he will fire Koeman and hire Xavi. So Koeman, not even really started yet, probably hasn't even talked to Messi in person, somehow is already on the chopping block if they get a new president. So good luck to you, Koeman.
I heard Messi, Koeman, he did go visit Messi at his Shangri-La Palace. So they have met. They have met.
Okay. But Koeman, look, that's the last time you're going to see him because he already. Again, Bearded Genius, Nuruddin, beautiful here. I sent you this picture. Firmino smiling for the temperature test. Bobby walks up, and normally they hold out the temporal thermometer scanner thing to get your temperature. He looks like he thinks it's a camera and just sits there and smiles and poses for the thermometer.
I laughed so hard when you sent me that, man.
Unbelievable.
These big white chompers were like, oh, it's a camera. Yee.
Oh, God, so funny. Troll Football sent out a great one. It says scenes in the UCL final, and it shows Mbappe, and he's like blurry because he's running so fast. Davies blurry because he's running so fast. And then it says, meanwhile, the linesman, and you got this person sitting there with glasses bent over, squinting, like, what the hell is this? Like trying to figure out what's happening, because it really was that fast. Both those guys are blind. This tweet here was absolutely pure genius. Pogba's always getting a bunch of shit from everybody. A lot of people think it's like race related. I really think half of it's just because he just doesn't show up or he doesn't look like he's trying, even when he is. But this one was beautiful. It was from at Musli Salim. You've got Merson. I think it's Paul Merson is the guy that's always bashing Pogba in there. Yeah. So when I don't know if you saw it, it was in reaction to the news that Harry Maguire was arrested for a fight while he was on vacation in Greece.
I saw that.
And that's what he says. You need to ask yourself, this has got a picture of Paul Merson, where was Pogba when this fight was taking place? Is Pogba doing enough to justify his price tag? Because it seems like no matter what anybody else does, they always come back to Pogba. So
what was Harry Maguire doing there? It sounds like he got in some brawl or something. Yeah.
So this is actually what it was in response to the United report. They're at UTD report. Harry Maguire was arrested in the early hours of Friday morning after a fight between his friends and other Englishmen outside a bar in Mykonos, Greece. So yeah, he was probably at the foam party. And then S.I. Lloyd, it's at SMNLLYD5, did another great quote because Manchester United is like not pulling the trigger on any of these transfers or being cheap. And so he said, Harry Maguire is still in police custody as Manchester United expressed reluctance at paying the entire bail fee this summer. They prefer to spread the cost over 2 years with a series of add-ons.
He's stuck in Greece because they're cheap.
Well, that was beautiful. It was kind of Manchester United heavy there at the end, but that's just the stuff that struck me funny this week. So, man, we did it again.
Oh, yeah. We wasted everybody's time once again, Eric Neal. Look, we got the Crew game tonight. We've got the Crew game later this week, Hell is Real Derby, remember? We got that this week. That's a lot of MLS, man. I hope the Premier League gets back to us real soon because that's not good.
No, I can only take so much.
All right, brother. See you next week. Peace.
That's our show for this week. Please check us out on Twitter at @Rash_podcast, on Facebook at 2 Rash Challenges, or email us at 2rashchallenges@gmail.com. Also check out our website, 2rashchallenges.com, where you can find articles, videos, and photos. And if you like the show, tell a friend and make sure you go to iTunes and give us a review. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, for Eric, our producer and engineer Ezra Jack Lewis, our main man on the streets Andrew Wells, and myself, we say cheers.